state your name and major for the interview?
Okay, my name is Kaylee Fullington. My major, journalism.
That's what we like to hear. Not enough journalism majors out there. So today I just want to kind of go over like generally what it was like being the editor-in-chief for this semester, fall 2025, and kind of like what that meant to you and kind of the legacy that you want to leave behind or that you thought you left behind. So I'll just start off with like a really general like kind of summary question. If you could summarize what it means to be like an editor-in-chief in like a couple sentences, what would that be?
I think being an editor-in-chief is definitely taking on a giant leadership role. I think I knew that going into it, but it is also a role where you have to be very personable with people. I mean, definitely keeping boundaries, but also just making sure that like working with a diverse group of people that you're able to meet everyone where they're at, sort of. Like everyone that comes into the Breeze, especially at a community college, they're all at different learning levels. So to get everyone on the same page as to how to pitch, how to write, things like that, I think it was a very big learning curve for me to be the one in navigation of the room and having to sort of take everyone under my wing and teach them how to be journalists.
Yeah, what was your prior experience with like journalism coming into this?
I did not know anything about journalism until my senior year of high school, and I needed an elective course, and I did not like any of our elective course options at all, and they had just added a new one that semester, and it was broadcast journalism, and I was like, ooh.
At your high school?
What's that? Yeah, at my high school.
Wow, that's cool.
And they were like, yeah, we're testing it out. And I was like, so what does that do? Like, what do we do? Do they film? And they're like, well, you know, there's filming, there's writing. And I was like, writing. I love to write. That got me. So I went and talked with the teacher. I was like, hey, can I join this course? And he's like, yeah, you can join the course. We have writers, which are like the on-air correspondents, and then like the editors, which do like the filming and like audio editing work and stuff. So yeah, my senior year of high school, I got a lot of experience with broadcasting, but it was also nerve-wracking because I had to be on film so much.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, I really just like broke into journalism like the most dramatic way possible. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on air, I'm going to do interviews. It was very like ambitious because there were even times where like our daily show host were absent. So like us correspondents just had to take over and be host for the day. And I'm like, okay, we're running a daily show. This is crazy. Okay, I didn't know this would be my Tuesday because we had a show every day of the week.
That's cool, though. That seems very involved for, like, a high school. But honestly, I like that you kind of point out that that's, like, it's an aggressive way to break in, but it gives you a lot of experience really quickly. And I feel like that's not a facet of journalism that a lot of people think about when it comes to, like, you know, people hear the word journalist and they think like, oh, you're like walking around like taking notes on people's stuff. Like, oh, I go to restaurants and critique people's food or whatever else. But yeah, TV broadcast is like huge. And I think people have kind of separated that and like now they view like TV people as just TV people, not journalists. So
I think that's why I didn't know about broadcasting much either, because I was like, wait, the news is journalism? And I was like, hold on. Like, my world is breaking right now. Like, this is crazy. And I was like, wow, a lot more is journalism than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a broad umbrella, but that's why I kind of like it. There's a lot to do in there. So I feel like if you try everything, you'll probably find something that you like in journalism. And it seems like it's making a resurgence in, like, a really, like, community-based way. So I definitely like that. But I like that you were talking about the diversity of students. Was there anything that you found like particularly challenging about like getting everybody up to pace? Because there were a lot of people in class that, you know, this is like maybe their first journalism class ever, or they might just be interested in working with the paper.
I think the biggest thing is like the Breeze, we only have like one group meeting a week, so that's like only 1 hour out of like everyone's week that like I can get everyone on the same page. So we have like other ways of communication through like email, Slack, things like that, but I think the easiest way to like have more like one-on-one time with people is like when they come into our lab. So I feel like people that come into lab, it was super helpful because not only could I tell that like they were eager to learn and like wanting to know more, but it gave us more time. Like, okay, like you're here in person, I can like show you how to hands-on do these things, because communication like online or with students that are like just online or like don't come to our meetings as well, it's sort of like, I can't find the right words. It's not a language barrier, but it's just like an online
it's like
barrier.
a learning barrier, or like a social barrier. I think that, having it be something where to a lot of people this is sort of like an elective, or it might just be something they do for fun. But to other people, if it's just like for the class and class credit, they're probably not going to put in like a whole lot of extra effort. Maybe they took the class for whatever reason, or maybe they thought they'd like it and they kind of don't. But you can always tell, like you said, the people that really want to put in that extra effort and learn. And so it is unfortunate to see people kind of fall by the wayside for not putting in the extra effort and not learn as much. But I think you do get more out of the people that do. Was there anything challenge-wise, since we're on the subject, that you really felt like this semester challenged you as editor-in-chief?
I think the biggest challenge this semester was just like how large our team was, because the Breeze has been very like a small, tight, close-knit group for like a couple semesters now, like as long as I've been here. So this semester I'm like, wow, this is the biggest group we've had in forever, and it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new people to meet, and it's not like there's a lot of people, so I want to make sure that like our interactions aren't all just transactional. I want to make sure that like I get to know everybody, because I'm going to see that through their pitches, through their writings. I've gotten to know everyone's like writing styles, things like that. So I feel like the biggest challenge at first just felt like, wow, new people, so many new people. But I think throughout the semester, with everyone's like help and like editors coming on board, and the Breeze launching a lot of new like fellowships and like events this semester, it was like kind of like a great way to like rebrand the Breeze, I guess, because we had the team to help us go out and do the things that like we've been wanting to accomplish for so long, but just haven't had the team or the equipment or resources to do so.
Yeah, this is kind of my first semester back in a while, so my baseline for how things are supposed to be is non-existent. But as far as like what I saw this semester, things seem to run like pretty smoothly for the most part, and it seemed like there was a lot of like really good opportunities and grants and stuff like that, but I know it wasn't always like that. When it comes to the magazine, which was like the big kind of deal for the semester, what was kind of your opinion on how things went versus prior semesters?
I think in prior semesters, at least as long as I've been here, we've had our very helpful former EIC, Lionel, sort of take over our magazine layout, because like being a journalist major at a community college, we're only here for so long, so there's not time to like specialize in all aspects of like what it takes to lay out a magazine.
No, of course.
So a lot of that is graphic design, and we just happened to be so lucky with Lionel, because when he was in high school, he was actually part of like his school newspaper's like layout team, so he had all this experience with InDesign already, which was our programming we use for our magazine. And we're just like, well, you got that, you know how to work the programming, run with it, because usually in the newsroom and journalist world, a lot of us procrastinate, so we're just like, last minute, we got to get it in. Lionel, you can save us. So my bad. What was the question? I sidetracked so far off.
No, that's perfectly all right. Just like kind of how you overall felt about how the magazine went compared to prior semesters.
Oh, I see, yes. Usually the EIC kind of puts it like on themselves to kind of put together the whole mag and go through last minute revisions and things like that. And I'm like, okay, yes, I I could definitely do that, except I don't want to put the whole mag on myself. And I know this semester we have a really big team, and I know a lot of people are eager and wanting to help, and I really want everyone's like input with the mag. You know, I was like, I don't want to make every executive decision and be like, this is how it's gonna be. This is what it's gonna look like. No, 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 no one has a say. I was like, of course I want everyone's input. So it was really helpful having. Well, we'll get to that, but it was helpful being able to collaborate with other groups on campus as well. So like getting our centerfold from the art club and having some help from our graphic designers, but really our editors and our team pulled through at the end with making arts and just like layout help design. So it really, although it was still dramatic in the process trying to get it finalized and turned in on time with all our little road bumps, I would say that the process was a lot more collaborative than it has been in the past.
Yeah, I personally loved the collaboration aspect of the magazine. I really felt like everybody did have a voice, and I feel like you were really the facilitator of that, kind of making sure that people got to have a say in their article, how it looked, the graphic design of it, and sort of like the color scheme, like even the small details that like probably most editors-in-chief would be like, I'm just going to make the executive decision on this, because like, you know, sometimes giving people too many options can be a problem, especially when it comes to stuff like that. People might start like nitpicking and be like, oh, I want my page to look exactly like this. And, you know, but I think overall it kind of went smoothly in that aspect at least. And I did like that everybody kind of got to collaborate on that. But one thing I also want to highlight was what was your kind of feelings on the difference between directing versus like contributing? So I believe in prior magazines you were just contributing to like writing articles, stuff like that. How was it different being like the director?
I think being the director this time definitely had its like pressures. I definitely felt a lot of pressure, like, okay, I've been part of these mags in the past, we've done this in the past. It feels like anything that comes next, it has to be like new, it has to be bigger, it has to be bolder. And I think when it came down to choosing the mag and like the theme, I was just kind of like, okay, what are main things that like I like, and also how can like I incorporate like this sort of like artsy style into just like what's going on in the world right now, because I kind of feel like we have a great team, a great opportunity of like pitch stories with like just the world right now. So I was like, you know, I think art and activism can come together really hugely if my team can kind of pick up the idea that I'm putting down. You know, I was sort of like just very like maximalist. I kind of want like someone to open the mag and be like, ooh, there's a lot going on, kind of giving me anxiety, right? But it's like, well, that's the point. I was like, gotta read our mag.
That's kind of, that was going to lead right into my next question, which was going to be like, what was the most important thing that you wanted to highlight in the magazine? And also, I don't know if I ever asked you this, but did you come up with that theme for the magazine, or was that kind of like a group decision?
I think the direct theme of the mag wasn't thought of right away. I think I tried to think more aesthetics first, and then the theme kind of came along with it, because I was like, okay, something very maximalist. I sort of had like our mag inspo board and like some album covers on there. Like the Radiohead one was a big inspiration, and I was just like, okay, well, like what kinds of stories would go well with this? And I was like, well, you know, I was like having conversations every day and talking with like our peers and like our team, and like we're always talking about like just what's going on in the world politically, economically. And I was like, you know, why don't we just talk about this? Why don't we put stories in the mag that maybe nobody or everyone is talking about, or some people maybe just haven't thought about yet? You know, I was like, let's get some stories that make people think. But I also wanted them to be something that was sort of timeless, like stories that wouldn't really grow old with time, like time relevancy.
No, I like that. And I feel like we did kind of capture that in a generic sense. I feel like the art and the theme for sure. I don't think that the anxieties of the modern age are going anywhere. I think that the more that we incorporate technology into our lives, the more anxiety that the next generation is going to feel. And I think it's kind of because of a disconnect that people are having with, like, the more that we talk to each other over devices and spend our time on devices, the less connected we are with, like, people in real life. And that has, like, real social consequences. So I think that this was a perfect theme. I think it was the perfect time to do it. And now that we're all done with the magazine and it's all done, how are you feeling?
Definitely relieved. Like the most relieved I probably felt all semester.
Yeah.
Like I can breathe now. Like even when we submitted our our last like proof of the mag to our printer, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm like slightly relieved, but not completely relieved until like we have the mag in our hands and we can distribute, and like being able to see just like how well it's being received across campus as well, and like also with our faculty and students. I was like, it's not until then, and like I see like people like holding it, reading it, you know, like thoughts, like that'll be like truly like, okay, yeah, like fulfilled. That was success.
Yeah, I'm very interested to sort of hear the feedback that everybody thinks about it, because everybody's opinion is so different. I'm sure like more artsy people are going to love it and they're going to be like, wow, this is so amazing. But, nobody likes everything, and it's really hard to make something that everybody will love. But I feel like we kind of really encompassed a good, broad sense of ideas and really gave something for everybody to kind of tap into. So hopefully we'll get some really good feedback. I'm excited to hear what students think, and, next semester maybe go around and ask some people what they think about that. That might be a cool story. But speaking of next semester, where do you kind of see yourself settling down now that your time as editor-in-chief is coming to a close as of today?
I think settling down, I don't really want to do too much of. I think definitely taking a little rest break to like recoup, regenerate, but I don't really know what comes next. I don't honestly fear what comes next. I know that this semester was probably the best. Well, yeah, but just honestly the most like, I'm gonna say chaotic, but I don't even mean it in like the worst way. I mean it in like, it's just been so like, so many new things have happened this semester, and like so many new opportunities have risen, and I've met so many new people that I know that whatever comes next, like,
it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. Like I have people I can call, like so many artsy people, people that love to write. Like there's so many people that I've met that are like so interested in so many like niche things that I'm like, oh wow, like please tell me more. Like I am so thankful that I have so many people I can learn from now, and I know that in the future, if I ever wanted to start new projects or collaborate, that there would be people willing to help.
Yeah, this was a surprising semester, finding so many people that had like really, I don't want to say niche, but like you wouldn't expect it from people to be so multi-talented. But there was a ton of people this semester that ended up being like multifaceted. I was like, wow, this is actually
You're like,
really
oh,
cool.
you don't just take photos, like you also like edit and do graphic design. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
no, and it's always cool to network with people like that too and build those relationships closely, because like you said, in the future, if you want to spearhead a project, or even if you want to kind of nudge the EIC, the future one, and be like, hey, like you should do something like this, and they're like, well, I don't even know where to start, you can now be that person to be like, don't even trip, I know exactly who you need to talk to. And I think that's a really cool thing. So leaving behind the Breeze as EIC, do you feel like you've kind of left it in a better position than it was when you started?
I mean, I do feel that the EICs that came before me have all been working towards making the Breeze a better place, like as it is. I feel like this semester, it was sort of like going into it, it was all over the place just from the adjustment of like a bigger class, bigger publication meetings and all of our equipment. Like, we're working on getting all of our things into like a checkout schedule, making up our podcast room. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, everything has been so new that I feel like there were so many extra little tasks that I didn't really expect to be taking on, but I ended up taking them on anyways. And I really tried to do my best to balance out like being able to be everywhere at once, even though I know I can't be. So I think I definitely had to learn a lot along the way. But I do like to hope and say that I've left the breeze in a hopefully lighter condition, brought some little kiwi essence to the breeze.
I only asked because I have no idea what it was like before this, so I can only assume.
No,
that
it wasn't like
better.
crumbling and burning and crashing.
No,
it was just like, you know,
so.
like same as before. I think the program just grew a lot as a whole this semester, so there was a lot more to help like maintain and take care of, keep up with. But yeah.
And that is a part of leadership, you know, like unexpected tasks that you're going to have to take on. So I think like the more that you dealt with this semester, the better it will be for you in the long run, because now it's like, okay, now I know all these little nuances that
expect the unexpected.
Yeah, seriously. And it happens always conveniently at the worst times. So, you know, just really overloading people. But what kind of legacy do you kind of hope to leave behind for the future of EICs?
I don't know. Legacy sounds huge. Like legacy? Like I leave a legacy?
What was
really?
the Kiwi legacy?
Really? The Kiwi legacy? I don't know. I'm just chill. Like, just chill guy. Be a little silly, you know. It's not always that serious. Oh, it gets so overwhelming at times, but like, it's simply, truly, just take it one day at a time. Please. Please. Like, really? Like, when I think about things from an outer perspective, like, it's not that deep, and we get through it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I like that.
I don't know. To next EIC, just don't let everything overwhelm yourself, because then I don't even want to lecture right now. I just feel like, oh, like I'm gonna cry. Like, legacy, like, oh my goodness.
I mean, it was a crazy long semester filled with all kinds of roller coaster rides, ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I think that's a perfect way to put it. You know, it's really not that serious. It's a learning space at the end of the day. We're here to grow. And so I think part of that growth is like learning to ask for help from people, but also learning that not everybody is going to be as helpful and not everybody is going to want to help. Like, sometimes you might have to put more on your back than you're willing to make things happen. But I think that really comes down to like how much you love a project and how much you want to push it through, and also being able to have that group of people that you do trust and be like, hey, this kind of fell through. I know this isn't your forte, but can you come help me with this? You know, like, let's just get it done. We'll do it the best we can. And not to say that the magazine was like that, but, you know, I feel like a lot of people came through when the chips were down, and you know, we really pulled through on that, and I feel like it came out great. So I think that not taking things too seriously can be good.
True. Definitely speaking up for yourself, advocating for yourself. I think like boundaries in that sense is important too, because I'm just like, yeah, if I sat there quietly and just like did not ask for help with the magazine and let everything crumble, we would not have had a mag.
Yeah, which you could have easily done. I mean, honestly, with the setbacks that we had and, you know, certain other things, like, it would have been easy to just say, you know what, like, this is too overwhelming. We have the stories. We have, like, at least the color palettes. So let's just
have
put
some
the
plain,
stories.
simple pages.
Yep, and just put them on there. But I think that we got really lucky that we had a few good people that shared a common vision for the magazine and really wanted it to be that maximalist, like, the most that we could possibly do with it, put as much into it as we could, really make it an experience for people, not just like something to read, but something that they could kind of fully enjoy, like music and, you know, really good stories, really good artwork, you know, just kind of pulling everything together, not leaving any blank space for people to like stare at and wonder like where it all went wrong. Why is there so much blank space, or like why is it just so many words? I don't think anybody wants to sit there and just like read for like a long time, just
Yeah.
nothing but words.
I feel like the more that you look at our mag, the more there is to like unpack from it, I guess.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
more detail is unveiled.
Yeah. No, it was very layered, and I think that, we got to see that be built brick by brick, and that was a really cool experience for me personally. Just seeing all of the work that went into it and all the little things that people don't think about, like, oh my God, margin spaces. God, you would
Yes.
never expect that to be such a pain, but um, yeah, I don't know. What kind of going back a little bit, thinking to when you first started as EIC, kind of like your expectations of the position, like, do you feel like you lived up to your own expectations?
I think at first I was very like I think a little nervous to be in my position, but also I felt like okay, like I'm here now, like now's the time to be ambitious with all of my ideas. Like even if I'm not going to hit the mark with all of them, at least we're shooting super high, so at least like something at least I'm satisfied with comes out
Yeah.
of it, you know? So I feel like it was very smooth at first, but I think once we started going along the semester and the mag came along. Sorry, I'm rambling because I forgot your question as you asked it to me.
Just kind of like what your expectations of like
Oh, yes. Oh,
being like
yes.
what did you expect EIC to be, and
Mhm.
like looking at those expectations, how do you feel that you like lived up to them, or if there was anything that you were like, oh, I expected it to be like this but it didn't turn out to be that way?
I think there wasn't too much that like was different that I was like, oh, I didn't really expect this. But I think from watching previous EICs do their thing, I think finally being able to be in this position, I was like, okay, these are some things that I want to work towards and I want our team to work towards. So hopefully I can make like those changes, like asking for more help from editors,
Mm-hmm.
um, making our publishing schedule a little more regularly. That was actually more possible this semester because we had so many writers that we
Mm-hmm.
had just like an abundance of stories. Like our story pipeline has been insanely full like all semester. So I'm just like, yeah, we were able to have like 2 newsletters a week when really we could only have one like every other week like last semester, you know? So
Yeah.
just being able to like produce things on a more regular basis, but then also making sure to kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like harness, but like nurture everyone's creativeness, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Garner that kind of garden of journalists and help them grow.
Mhm.
Be the watering.
The little watering can, the
Yeah.
water bucket.
Yeah, the water bucket for all of these young journalists, um, which is great that you mentioned that, because I also wanted to know, where do you see yourself going in journalism now that you've kind of been in a regular desk editor and then editor in chief, and now like when you look off into the broad horizon of your future, where do you see yourself kind of ending up in journalism?
Honestly, I feel like if I leaned into anything, I could really see myself pursuing any part of journalism as it is. Because I'm like, even though I haven't done broadcasting in a while, like, yeah, being on camera, interviewing, that would be super fun again. Like, I could see myself doing that. But I think, like, thinking on, like, smaller, like, short term goals, I think definitely editing, I want to keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like copy editing, it's like Sudoku. It's like one of my favorite like pastimes. I'm just like, oh, Oxford comma, you know, capitalization things. It's just like, I don't know. It keeps like my brain working, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would like to work on more creative projects. But then also sort of like how we did with our mag, I was like, this is probably one of the best representations I've seen of like art and activism together by such like a large group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, wow, like look at our little Breeze team. Like we put together this mag, and like even though it's just a little mag, we only have one a semester. Like it felt like this is like the biggest thing. I'm gonna be so proud of this and our team like forever. You know, so I'm just like, that is sort of my motivation to keep going and doing more things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So even focusing on like local activism things, I feel like leaning into telling stories that aren't really being told is something I'd really like to do, but also adding in that art aspect. So maybe more magazines in the future.
That would be awesome like to see.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that your vision for the bigger projects was focused in a way that I liked. I liked your direction, and I think that, you know, moving forward, it's good to have those kind of bigger goals, even if now that you're stepping down from EIC, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be influential and still spearhead projects like that. Like realistically, there's no limit on kind of like what you can do for yourself here. It seems pretty open. So like if you wanted to in next semester, if you were like, oh, let's do more zines or let's do more this or that, like, you know, I don't think anybody's going to tell you no. And so that would be really cool to incorporate that. And I really like the sort of, like you said, we had graphic design, art club. It'd be great to get the photography department involved and, you know, do something with that and just kind of get all these different places on campus to work together. Because even though we are a smaller community college, you know, we can produce something that's just as high quality as like some of these bigger colleges, just maybe not as frequently, you know, because we're just kind of short on people, funding, and stuff like that, which, you know, I think it kind of ebbs and flows semester to semester. You know, next semester we could have like no journalists that really want to push for that. So, you know, I think this was a cool semester to come in to really see that happen. And I think we got a lot done. Did you have any kind of like final message or anything that you wanted to give to the future EIC or Chaffey students in general?
I don't know. This is a big one. I'm like actually on the mic right now. This is a big one. Like, what do I say? What's my one-liner? Stay silly. I don't know. I'm so ADHD. And then I'm gonna say, and then I want to say something meaningful, and then I'm gonna cry, and then we're filming. I don't know. Really, just like I was saying before, one day at a time. Don't take everything so seriously. Do what you want to do. Don't let everyone else rain on your passions. Really don't. Because as much as I felt discouraged this semester too, especially with our mag and everything else falling through, and I'm just like, no, like I was able to have, actually I was very grateful to have people around me that were able to help pick up the vision that we had for the mag. So just, I don't know, even when you feel like there's no help and like you're helpless, like there's always going to be people there that will be there to help you, listen to you, help you see through your visions. Like everyone this semester in our team has really shown that to me. Like I'm not one to ask for help really ever. I really just like, oh no, I can do it. I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Like I'll do it. Don't worry. And I think this semester, I've definitely gotten to work on boundaries a lot more, and also just asking for help and knowing that it's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, seriously. Especially if you really want something to get done. You know, there's no shame in turning to other people. You just have to know that, you know, inside yourself that you did everything that you could. And at the end of the day, we're all just one person. So there's only so much we can do with so much time. And for bigger projects like the magazine, stuff like that, it's just not really possible to do by yourself. You need at least somebody, unless you have the whole semester to work on it, like by yourself.
You start production in like August.
Yeah, that would really be a labor of love, seriously.
It's all a labor of love.
Yeah.
The long days we spent, long nights, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
It's also worth it.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing for me personally, was when I held the mag in my hand. I was like, oh.
You're like, all those hours just right here in my hands.
I was like, just in my hands. And I was like, it looks so good. I can't believe it. Yeah, that was a special moment. I I think I got my hands on like the second or third magazine that came out of the box, because I remember walking down to class and I saw Ryan and I saw the mag in his hand and I recognized the cover. So I was like, Ryan, what do you have in your hand? Let me see it. And so I kind of breezed through it really quickly. And I was like, okay, like I got to get down there and like get a copy for myself.
That's so funny. So Ryan had like the first or second copy.
Yeah, because I think it was like him. I can't remember who else was down there, but oh man, yeah, there was somebody else that had gotten there. And yeah, I popped in the room, and Ian's just sitting there with like 4 boxes of magazines, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, like check it out, the magazine's here." And I was like, "Awesome!" Pull it out of the box, flip it open. I was like, "This is surreal." All of those hours, especially that first week when we asked for the extension, that was like really a moment for me where I was like, I don't know if we're gonna finish this. I couldn't imagine how you felt, because I felt devastated personally. I was very
so stressed.
I was very committed from the beginning, just because I thought it was a really cool idea. I've always wanted to have my own magazine for specifically like kind of music, stuff like that, do like highlights of local artists and stuff like that, and kind of build my own magazine, like kind of like a culture mag. So when you guys were like, oh, we're doing a magazine, I was like, oh, absolutely. I'm 100%.
You're like, I'm there. I'm here, actually. I'm sad.
I'm like, I'm literally here right now at the desk typing. I don't even know what it's about yet, and then everything just kind of lined up so well. I was like, I love the theme. I love the art style. I love what we're talking about. I think it's so relevant. I think that, this is something that needs to be talked about, especially with like, I've done some projects in other classes about anxiety specifically, and like reading some of those statistics, like 80% of students experience some sort of anxiety. So I was like, dude, this is a perfect magazine topic. And we did so well. We made it happen.
I know. I was so excited to see like people picking them up and walking around campus with them. Like actually seeing students reading it is like, oh my goodness, like they know about us. Like if they didn't before, now they do.
Yeah.
I feel like next semester it'll definitely help bring in a rush for the Breeze, even like with Club Rush and students being like, hey, I saw your mag, or I read your guys' stories. You guys are so cool. I want to do what you guys are doing.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest aspect of the mag, is it's like our poster child for
a whole semester too.
Yeah, for a whole semester. Like somebody can pick that up and be like, open it and be like, wow, this is really cool. Like I want to be a part of this. Or like, I didn't even know that we offered something like this here. Like we do magazines at Chaffey. Like
exactly.
We do magazines at Chaffey, believe it or not, and good ones too. So yeah, that's a huge aspect in my mind for, growing the program as a whole, which definitely makes me want to ask, where do you see the Breeze going in the future?
Sorry, I wanted to answer that question literally, like, so quickly. Like, oh, well, they're going to knock down this building, so we're going to be in the new building.
No, not where are we going physically. We know that was one thing I was like, you were talking about, like, oh, we put up the podcast room, and I'm like, yeah, we put all this up just to be knocked down. Like, they're not even keeping this building. This could be one of the... No, I won't say this could be one of the last. I heard that we'll probably be in here for a little while, at least.
One of the very few videos ever filmed in here.
So, yeah, we're rare. But, where do you see the future of the Breeze going? Because for me, it kind of seems like every semester, or at least every year, is kind of like a whole, like, you're just starting over. Because
like
people are being, like, cycled out. So it seems really hard to kind of build anything of significance, like for me personally, when I walk into the room and, Ian shows off like, oh, like look at all of these magazines and newspapers and posters from all these things we did in the past, I look at that and it's like, it's cool to see, but you're seeing like such a base level version of like where things are, and it's hard to really gauge how far it's come. And it's hard to really know, like, where certain building blocks kind of got placed in. So, like, where do you see the future of the Breeze going?
I think COVID and, like, the pandemic was definitely a big setback for the Breeze. And I know since then we haven't really been able to bring everything back like it was before, like, especially with the Breeze having like a radio hour on campus too. Like since the pandemic, like that hasn't really been brought back. But I feel like now, and especially the age that we're in with journalism and it being so like just involving like everything, like the multimedia aspects too. I feel like the Breeze didn't have as much of that before, but now like with all of our equipment and things and us testing out like a little pop-up podcasting booth this semester and things like that, I think that the Breeze is very much on the up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this semester, and I'm very sure that it'll lead into next semester, just like everyone's like students' drive to do journalism. I feel like stories will keep being pushed through, great ideas will keep being pitched, and I don't know. Just I really think the Breeze is on the up, just with the use of like resources we have now and like the collaboration that we've slowly started to do this semester. I feel like it'll only increase more next semester, especially
Planting
with
seeds.
like Prism and the student government, things like that. Like I hope that the Breeze has continues to have a larger presence on campus as well.
You heard it here first, folks. Invest in Breeze stock because it's on the up. It's on the up.
On the up for real. Today.
Yeah.
Today only.
Yeah. No, we're going to pull the rug out from under people. No, but I think it would be cool to see if we got a little more funding to see those, like the newspaper booths be like kind of refurbished, or it'd be really cool to see like an electronic version of that so we could have our articles, like at least the graphics and stuff displayed on those screens, like how they do at bigger colleges. I know that's probably not realistic funding-wise.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to see.
Even if we could just, like, print more, like, posters up, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, oh, like...
having more of a physical presence.
Yeah, like, this is what Breeze is, this is what we do. But even just, like, writers and, like, editors themselves being more present on campus, like, going to, like, events and talking to people. I feel like our newsroom right now is kind of, like, hidden on campus, so not everyone knows really where to find us or if we're here or not. Not everyone knows we have a student news publication. So I think this semester everyone has done a lot of like outreach on campus. I feel like we've gotten to touch space with a lot of groups on campus. So I know next semester everyone will come back and be like, oh yeah, like I know you, or I remember you guys are the Breeze. Like that's exactly what I think we've been wanting to do this whole time.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to put like more physical stuff in classrooms, like if we could. I don't know like the legality of that, or you know what we can really get away with as far as, I think we could do posters at least. I think that was one thing that was kind of lacking this year, was like a real like presence on campus.
Yeah,
like
or even like little like informational like pitches like in the English classes. We've done some of those before, but I
like,
think
hey,
just staying like
English
consistent
kids.
with it. Yeah.
Do you feel that the Breeze is getting enough funding, and do you feel that we are having the impact that we should? Which I kind of feel like you talked about already, but when it comes to like, if we did get more funding, do you think that we could do more? I mean, obviously that seems kind of like a rhetorical question, because like obviously with more money you could do more things, but like how productive do you think we could get?
I think we've been talking about this for a while, and like things like we would like to achieve for like the Breeze. The grants and fellowship things we have going on right now have been super useful and helpful, especially like for our writers. And like this semester we had another grant which let us do our media day, which was super cool. So I feel like Ian has been doing a really good job of securing all those grants and fellowships for us to be able to do those things. And I know the Breeze would like to do a lot of like more on-campus events. Like we had a little one in the quad for Bi Visibility Day. That was sort of last minute, but Prism was thankfully able to help us and set up like the tables, chairs, and things like that. So those are sort of resources the Breeze doesn't have access to, but I guess that's why we were sort of emphasizing the campus collaborations this semester, because then we found out like, oh, like if we're able to talk with Prism and put together this event on this day, then they're able to help us make ends meet pretty much, and help us supply the things that we don't really have access to. So I feel like even if it's not funding, I feel like just more collaboration in general would help the Breeze a ton.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that you want to leave off on? Anything that you want to say to the people? Anything,
I don't know.
like,
I feel
just
like
for
I've had
fun?
this spotlight like 3 times and I don't know what to say anymore. Just like, guys.
No, yeah, just anything that you want to
guys.
say. It doesn't have to be Breeze related. Just anything that you want to say in general. Just
Okay.
to have a little fun with it, you know?
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Eve loves you. She's just Beb. Actually, she's so Beb that she's just baby. Like, she's just baby because she's Beb. And she loves you.
That was profound.
True.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been a great interview. Kaylee, I loved getting to know you a little bit better. And I think that the future EIC is going to be really lucky because they're going to have a very good resource to pull on. So hopefully we'll see you next semester.
Yes, true. Future EIC, you got that. You got that in the bag.
Yeah, free. Literally free.
Oh, we're being cut off now. We're being censored. We
Well,
gotta go.
That's been our
Thanks
time.
for having me.
Yeah, no, it was great to have you. You were great.